All right, guys, welcome back. Here we go. Got a nice one for you. Got a real nice one for you. I'd like to welcome Chris from Dopiates. Thank you for being here, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me again, bro.
Hell yeah. So, Chris and I talk a lot behind the scenes, damn near every day, right? And we got to talking about this certain topic. Therefore, I created a poll just to see what everybody thought. So, go check it out. The question: is it really a choice? Is it really a choice? There's so many opinions out there. And my opinion, man, we're gonna get right into it. I'm thinking it's not a choice. Here's here's why. I don't think it's your choice because if you take it way back, if I take it way back to when I first started using, of course I didn't know how my life was going to turn out, but ultimately I didn't choose to become hooked. I didn't choose to become physically dependent, right? I didn't choose to take on this habit, this monkey on my back, man. So ultimately, we'll get into it as time goes, but just want to see what you have to say.
All right. Excuse me. So, when you ask somebody, like, do you think addiction is a choice? I feel like certain people might, like interpret the question a different way. You know what I mean? The way I see is addiction a choice? I feel like it is until it isn't. You know what I mean? Like, of course, you have to make a choice to, to start using drugs. You're not just hooked immediately. You have to make the choice to, put the drugs in your system. But like you said, you didn't know you were going to become physically addicted. So that's how I see it. I think you choose to start using drugs until it's not a choice anymore. I mean, once you get, deep enough into addiction and you start withdrawing, you're physically dependent. Um, once it gets to that point, it's not a choice anymore. Obviously, you always have the choice to not, you know, to not use. But once you're, so physically addicted, there's basically no choice. The only choice you're going to make is to use because that's just how strong the addiction becomes.
Yep. So if I were to ask you, is addiction a choice? What do you say?
See, that's why I feel like, there's different ways to interpret it, right?
Yeah.
You make the choice to start using drugs, yes. So you could say, addiction's a choice because you made the decision to use drugs that you know to be addictive. Maybe you don't know how addicting they are. But yes, you make that choice to use those drugs. And like I said, the further on down the line you go, you always have the choice to do it or not. But the only choice down the road is to do it. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
So
straight up. Straight up. The
that's
power
why
of
that's why I think it's a choice. I think that it's a choice. Obviously, we don't choose to become physically addicted. That's just what happens.
yeah. Yeah, it's a really good topic, man. And we talked a lot behind the scenes on this topic. And I just want to reference the poll real quick. Um, 55% you guys said yes, it is a choice, and the 45% said no. So, like you're saying, it all depends how you interpret the question.
Mhm.
Ultimately, my answer is straight up no, dude. Because if I'm answering this question yes or no, I say no. You know, of course, there's things that could be said after it, but I'm like when it comes to this topic, I'm pretty black or white. That's how I am, man. I'm like really stubborn, and I thought it'd be a good idea for us to talk about it, man. The At the end of the day, the power of choice, dude, that could make or break us, man. Make or break us. My my whole situation, all the problems in life stemmed from my addiction, right? That first 5 milligram Vicodin pill. And, of course I didn't do my research and, therefore the rest of my life was pretty screwed, man. Um, but, um, but yeah, man, the power of choice, ultimately, man, I'm just going to have to still say no, man. You got anything else to say? I'm just
I
stuck right
mean,
now.
man, I get why you don't think it's a choice. Like I said, you probably are seeing it in a different way that I see it. And that's why I made this whole couple videos recently, you know, about the whole is addiction really a disease thing. That's something. Obviously, a lot of you guys know my opinion. I don't think addiction's a disease. I really don't. You make the choice to, you know, put these drugs into your system, and you know, you pay the price, man. Like, you become addicted. I wouldn't call it a disease. I really wouldn't, even though, you know, it's technically classified as a disease. It's on paper as a disease. Um, like I brought up in my video, I think yesterday. Just because, and this is all opinion, you know what I mean? This is my opinion, man. Like, none of this is facts. This is just how I feel. Everybody has their own opinion on it, so it's all right. Like I was saying yesterday in my video, you know, some of these agencies, you know, like the CDC, I'm pretty sure that's who classifies addiction as a disease. I could be wrong, but I think it's the CDC, or something like that. The FDA, you know what I mean? Like I said yesterday, bro, the FDA literally told the general public that OxyContin, when it first came out, it's not addictive. You can't get addicted to OxyContin. That's what the FDA said. So just because this big agency, you know, says it's something, you never know. You know, you really never know. Are they right about things? Yeah, of course they're right about things. Are they wrong about things? They probably are, man. You know, they probably are. At the end of the day, like I said, my opinion, it's not a disease. I don't believe you're born with it. I really don't. There's people that think, you know, that you're born with addiction, and that's okay. You know, there's diseases that you're born with, you know, like certain types of cancer. And then there's also certain types of diseases you can prevent. You know, you can prevent getting STDs, you can prevent getting Hep C. You know, you could say you can prevent getting addiction. Yes, you can definitely prevent being addicted. But I don't see addiction as being something like HIV or Hep C or, you know, diabetes or cancer. I really don't. Maybe it's a mental disease. I don't know. I really don't. My whole thing is just you make the choice to put drugs in your system, man, and you become addicted and you pay the consequences. I don't know. A lot of people, you know, I know people say like it's a cop out. People use it as a cop out. You know, when people relapse, I've seen it a lot of times. People relapse and they use it as an excuse. Like, oh, well, you know, I have this disease and it's just so powerful. I can't help it. And they're not lying, man. They're not lying. You know how powerful it is. Like, we've all relapsed, you know, hundreds of times. Um, but whenever I've relapsed, I don't want to blame it on a disease. I relapse because I just want to get high. I start thinking in my head, you know, I want to get that feeling, and I just want to start using again. I wouldn't say it's a disease. That's my whole argument on it.
Yeah, those are some great videos, man, and good feedback right there on your part. I'm going to read a couple of the comments in the poll. So shout out PNG Media News. He says an addict may make the choice to take the first drink or smoke, etc., but they don't choose to be addicts. Addiction is something far beyond one's choosing.
Right. That's exactly what I was saying. Like, you choose to use the drug until it's not a choice anymore. I think that's pretty much what the comment was saying, right? You make the choice to use it.
Yeah. He's saying we basically make the choice to use, but at the end of the day, addiction is something far beyond one's choosing. You know, I've said before, at the end of the day, it's basically Russian roulette. We don't know. I didn't know how my body was going to react to it, right? Some people try it, they get sick. Some people try it, they don't like it. I fell in love, dog. I felt free. It's better than any, it was better than any feeling I've ever tried, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good comment and it resonated a lot. Another comment was shout out NorCal 530. He says, I was an addict for almost 10 years. When my daughter was born, I chose her over that West Coast black. I know it's very hard to do, but ultimately, it's definitely a choice.
It is, man. It's a choice. And you make the choice to stop using, too. You know, that's a choice that you have to make. You make a choice to get into it, and you make a choice to get out of it.
Yeah.
And whatever happens in between, I don't know what you call it, but it's addiction. It's addiction, man.
Yeah, straight up, man. And then Mary, shout out Mary, M.M. Williams. She said, there's so many variables to that question. It's not a choice until you become addicted, and then it's not anymore. Then there's other decisions to make. And then Windy Shores, not always. So, yeah, ultimately, man, it all boils down to choice, right? So we try something and then we get hooked. And that is like the make or break situation. Like, what do you do once you realize, you kind of have a problem? You either go left or right. If question for you, if somebody out there tried something and they know they're hooked, they know they can't get out of this situation, and they could either run and pick up, or what other things could they do if they realize they have a problem on their hands before it spirals out of control? What would you recommend?
That's honestly, that's a good question. Before it spirals out of hand,
Yeah, like back in the day when you tried it the first time, whatever it was, um, what do you think you should have done instead? Once you realized it was a problem, and the only thing that could fix, the dope sickness is more. What should have you done?
huh? I should have got clean, but that's so easy to say. Obviously, once I started using drugs, I and got the little taste of how bad, it can get. I started getting dope sick. I did try to go to detox, and that never really worked. Obviously, what I should have done is just really, put my mind to it, but I didn't really know how deep it was going to get. In the beginning, did I see it was bad? Yes, I was getting sick. I was going to detox very early on, like within a few months of using, I'm already going through detoxes. Seizures, falling out. And for some reason, I guess I didn't think it was all that bad. And I guess I just had to go through, all the stuff that I went through. I guess I kind of had to go through it. Did I have any idea back then, how ugly things are going to get, 10 years down the road? No, I had no idea. Me personally, like, I feel like most people, they have to go through enough before they have enough. At least that's true for me. I think it's true for a lot of people. Because in the beginning, like I said, it was little stuff. It was detox. It was maybe I fell out or I had a seizure, or, something like that. Um, but obviously, what I should have done is just not continue to use after I, had my first little fallout, or the first 2 or 3 times through detox. My life could have been so much different. I don't even know, where I would be today if I just made the choice to, you know, realize where I'm at. But I guess, you get blinded, bro. You get blinded. And like I said, you just got to go through what you're going to go through. And I feel like that's how most people get clean. You just got to go through hell to really realize it's not what you want to do.
Straight up, bro. And that hell could take a month. It could take 10 years, 13 years, like it did me, man. The last comment I want to shout out is Jessica Jane. She's and basically she's answering the question. No, but recovery is. Recovery is the choice. So hashtag we do recover. So that was the last comment there. I just wanted to shout out everybody who commented. I want to touch on one thing that you mentioned. Like how you were talking about, what you should have done. And I totally feel that too. I was living at my parents' house at the time, and I really didn't want them to know. I didn't want them to know how deep in I was, right? So ultimately, I did the isolation thing, hiding from them, lying to them, and I just resorted back to the quick fix, to what I knew would make me feel better, which is more.
Mhm.
Ultimately, I should have brought it their attention. I believe they would have been understanding. Um, but I just did the 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 only child isolation, secretive type stuff, and just kept on using men, and therefore things started to spiral out of control, man. Um, yeah, it's ultimately I didn't want anyone to know, because I was scared. You know, it was fear based. My decision was fear based. I was like, what do I do, man? And then I was like, okay, I'll figure it out in the next few days, or I'll figure this out in a week. But that never happens, right? You know, we just end up picking up, you feel the sense of relief, and then that pattern just starts happening on a daily basis. And then the next week, oh, I'll figure it out eventually, right? And then boom, next thing I know, detox and all that crap. Um, but I didn't know, man, that you were like basically seizing, you know, within the first year of all that. Was that like during the withdrawals, like the detox phase for you?
So I couldn't really tell you exactly what happened, but also too, I want to say too, like I completely get what you were just saying. You know, like you wanted, you were too afraid to ask for help, basically, in fear of, you know, what people would think of you or consequences from it. But because you didn't try to reach out for help earlier, you just dig yourself deeper and deeper and deeper, and then by the time you finally come out with it, you know, whether it's to your family or whatever, you're way deeper than, you know, you would have been if you just told them right off the rip, because they're going to find out eventually. They're always going to find out. So it's better to tell them sooner or later. And I mean, I remember when I had to first, you know, tell my parents, you know, I'm using these hard drugs. I was terrified to tell them, and their response was like, you know, it was nothing what I thought it was going to be like. You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't even bad at all. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, I need to go get help. And they're basically okay, and they gave me a ride, and that was it. But anyways, the whole season thing. I was still on the blues back then. I was still on the blues, and I don't even know what the hell happened, man. But this is how I ended up in my very, very first detox ever. I was going down to Cape Cod to pick up a bunch of pills. I'd go down there with one of my buddies, and you know, we throw our money together, and we come back. I don't know, we get like 20 or 30 of them, sometimes more, but usually around like 20 of them. We go down to the Cape one day, and I'm wicked sick. This is when I like first started getting dope sick, and I go into the dude's house, and I sniff because I was sniffing back then still. You know, crush it down, and it was one of the V's. I don't know if you remember the V's.
Mm-hmm.
So I crush them up, and then as soon as I sniffed it, like I just fell to the floor, and I started shaking and like convulsing. I don't know if it was a seizure. It wasn't an overdose. I would definitely not consider it an OD. But the closest thing I could say, it's not like the ambulance didn't come, you know, nothing like that. But I would define it as a seizure. You know, I hit the floor, I started shaking and like convulsing, and you know, my vision went all blurry. And that's when I kind of realized, fuck, you know, like I got to do something. Went home that night, and then the next morning, I'm like, you know, maybe I should go to the emergency room and just get myself checked out, something like that. And I went to the emergency room, and that's pretty much how I ended up at my first detox. I didn't even know about detoxes. I had no idea. So the hospital, they pretty much, you know, hooked me up with the detox, and they didn't bring me there, but they got me a bed. And then that next day, you know, that's when I had to come out, excuse me, and be like, you know, I'm using drugs. You know?
Oh man.
Yeah, I had this bed at detox.
Yeah.
I had the bed. And you can't drive yourself there. That's the thing. You can't drive yourself. You need to get dropped off. And this is before there was Ubers, you know, any of that stuff. So like the whole night I'm just thinking, I'm like, fuck, you know, like dread in the morning. Like I know in the morning I have to come clean and be like, I've been using pills. And I remember, I think what I say, I'm like,
I remember that feeling, bro.
yeah, man. I'm like, I was nervous as hell. And like, because at this time, I was still in barbering school at this time. I was still in barbering school. So I was like 19 years old or something like that. I'm still going to barbering school. And like, you know, I put my shoes on and like, I act like it's just another day. You know, I have my backpack. I have my little, you know, my briefcase with my hair clippers in it, all that type of stuff.
Damn.
Pretended like I'm about to go to school. And then at the very last minute, last second, like procrastination. I love procrastinating. I'm pretending to walk out the door. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, listen, I'm like, I've been using OCs and Oxys and Perks. I'm like, I need to go to rehab. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I have a bed. I'm like, something happened to me 2 days ago. I was at the hospital yesterday, and they have this bed for me, and I need a ride to rehab. And that's kind of how I broke the news.
Damn, bro, all nonchalant.
Yeah, bro. Just cool, bro. Yeah. Like I had my briefcase, bro. I had my backpack, and I was literally about to open the door, and then I'm just like, listen, because I knew I had this bet. I'm like, I don't want to miss this opportunity. I could easily just, go to school and blow the bet off, but I ended up going because that's when I first realized I needed to, I needed to start getting help.
I know that feeling, bro. It's so raw. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like one of the worst feelings, man. The question I had is, do you think it was a bad batch that caused you to fall out, maybe, or did you know it was like an actual script?
Oh no, it wasn't. These are way. This is way back in the days, way before the fake stuff. They were real. They
Oh,
were,
okay.
You can tell by the taste. I've never done a fake one, but you know what the real ones taste like.
Yeah.
When you sniff them, it was 100% real. I don't know what happened. I only sniffed one of them, and I fucking fell out and hit the floor and started shaking. I don't know.
Man. Yeah, I think this topic is really good, man. I'm sure we could go back and forth all day. But ultimately, man, it's all opinion based. Everyone has an opinion, a different outlook. And, I'm glad for the feedback that we got. People voted and then they put their opinion below. So that was really, really cool, man. I really, really appreciate that. And just trying to think if there's anything else that we should touch on, man. Anything else that you want to say about this topic?
I mean, what's your opinion on the whole disease thing? I don't think we heard that yet.
My opinion on the OCs?
No, if it's the disease or not.
Oh, disease. Oh,
yeah, disease thing. I don't think we heard that yet.
So is it a disease? I'd say, man, ultimately, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty like fact based and like black or white, but it's pretty tough in regards to this situation. I know the outcome and the way things spiral out of control, what it does to us physically, it is damn near disease based if it's not. You know what I mean? I think it's something that can turn into a disease. It's as crucial as a disease. It's really, really important and dangerous and definitely threatening to one's well-being, like an actual disease. So I think it's something that is brought upon us by the decision that we made to use and let that keep going. And it definitely spirals, man. So I'd say, yeah, I think it can turn into to a disease, man. That's a pretty intense topic right there, and I know a lot of people have, their opinion on it, and I think that would be pretty good for you to put out a poll, see what people think. Since you put out your videos, do you want to shout out the past 2 videos you did?
Yeah. So the first one I did, it was just real quick. I got a comment one night. Basically, what sparked the idea was somebody commented. I think I was talking about AA or something. And they said, what I don't like is a lot of people, they try to tell you it's a disease and people use that as a cop out to continue using, which I completely get. I mean, I kind of believe that people use it as a cop out. Whether it's to, let's say, your parents or your wife or a husband or somebody who's not an addict, you can kind of manipulate them with, oh, well, you got to understand I have a disease. So I definitely get the cop out thing. Obviously, you can't really use the cop out to another addict because like maybe some of them, they believe it's a disease. So maybe some people, addicts, you can use that as a cop out too. But basically, that's where I got the idea. So I made a quick little video that night. I think it was like midnight or something. I'm like, I got to share my opinion on this. For some reason, I'm just like, I got to share my opinion. Because this is one of those videos I've always wanted to make. I just never think to. So the first one is called "It's Not a Disease," and then the next day, I think it was yesterday, I made a part 2 to it. That's a little bit longer. It's like 10 minutes, and it's called "Let's Talk More About This." So those are the 2 videos where I share my my feelings, opinion. And that's all it is. It's not a fact. It's just how I feel, man. That's it.
I like the way you did that too. You started off with the first video, and then as time went on, comments came in. Boom, the next day, you elaborated more, on certain things, and you touched on it a little more. So they're both doing really good, man. First one is at 171 views. Second one is at 158 views. And, like I said before, man, I'm just so glad you're back, dude. I've always had your back. And, you're really good at this. You're blessed. And, we all have stories. And the way you get them off your chest and verbalize them, you just got it, bro. So I'm just glad you're back. How does it feel being back?
It's good, bro. It's good. I mean, I always knew I was going to come back to it. That's why, like I've said before, that's why I didn't delete my channel this time. That's why I deleted, all the videos, because I knew from past experience, if you delete that channel, you're losing all your subs, you're losing all this, all that. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep this channel. It's a monetized channel. I'm not deleting it. I'm going to keep all my subs because I know one day I will want to come back to it. And, sure enough, 6 months later, I came back to it, and it feels good, man. It does. Like, what video was it? I think it was the one I did yesterday about the whole 9 to 5 thing.
Yeah.
I really treat this thing as a job, bro. And I really do like doing it. I enjoy doing it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't like doing it. Yeah, man, it's good to be back. Like I said, I put hours into this every day. It's not, I try to, tell people it's not just making videos. You might see 1 or 2, 3 videos a day, but there's a lot of time spent, trying to record videos, YouTube trips sometimes. Some of these videos you guys see, I have to record them 2 to 3 times before I can even post it. So, that right there, that's, record a video, then it takes 45 minutes to upload. Then you got to do it again, 45, you know what I mean? And then there's a lot of other stuff, man. Like, like talking to people behind the scenes. I'm not saying that's a job, but, I have a lot of conversations with people going on, and, it's time consuming, man. And, trying to think of things to talk about and, just a lot, man. It's a lot, but I do like it. I definitely do like it.
Yeah.
It keeps me busy, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. It keeps me busy. Oh, yep. There it is, man. There it is.
There he is, people. There he is. Shout out to Opiates, man.
It keeps me busy. And, I don't know what the difference is between this time and the first time, but, I don't even have a video that's hit 1,000 views yet. You know what I mean? Not one. It's crazy. I don't know what the difference is. I'm literally telling the same exact stories as the first time. I had multiple videos that were like 10K plus.
Wow.
And yeah, this time I think my most viewed video is not like 800 views, but hey, man, whatever. Hopefully it'll get back on track and, start doing better, but it don't matter about that. It really don't.
Yeah.
I have fun with it, man. I have fun.
Yeah. It's a passion, man. It turns into a passion, right? Like,
it does, bro, for sure. Yeah,
it's a huge passion. And like over time, we know that we're helping people. And especially in the comments, when they give us feedback, I've always loved recognition. It feels good. And, when you get that one comment where, they like real recognize real, they see the type of person you are, and they let you know, they remind you that they appreciate your content and what you're doing is helping people. So that's a damn good feeling. Like I said before, this whole YouTube thing is my recovery. Basically, it's my purpose, dude. It's aside from my pets, it's the only thing in my life that really makes me happy. Aside from like family, my sobriety and stuff, this is what tailored for, right? To push my message of hope. And shout out YouTube, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out YouTube too. And it's definitely nice to, see that you help people and, stuff like that. Maybe sometimes, I might say a little more like off the wall shit or like, than you might, you know what I mean? I might have some fucking crazy, I'm not going to say crazy videos, but a little, off the wall lives every now and then. But, at the end of the day, man, like, that's what it's not about. That shit is just, I'm just trying to like tell my story, man. And if somebody gets something from it, that's good. You can take it or leave it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it does get a little sometimes, but hey, man, I guess it's real life, man. It's real life.
Oh yeah, straight up, man. Yeah, I think we nailed this topic, man. We have plenty more topics to go. So shout out you, man. I appreciate you. I've always appreciated you, your content, your
Appreciate you too,
channel.
bro.
Do you want to shout out your membership? Let people know what's going on behind the scenes, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
you know, I don't try to push it too hard. I really don't. But, you know, in every video, I leave a little link. If you want to become a member of the channel, man, it's a great way to support the channel. You know, every Saturday, you know, we have like a little member only lives, you know, no random trolls or weirdos popping in. You know, it's a cool group of people. It's only like 12 people. You know, a little behind like the scene videos or pictures or, you know, status updates or maybe like a news clip or something. I don't know, man. It's a great way to support the channel. It really is. There's just, you know, one tier of it, and that's it. Like I said, I don't really try to push it like that because you know, I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm trying to out here like begging. But if you do like the channel, man, it's really the best way to support it. So just to put it out there.
Yeah, I love the whole behind the scenes outlook on things, and you know, I'm a member of your channel, you're a member of my channel, so we got a real good thing. Great group of people. So but yeah, thanks again, man. In regards to the topic, do you have any final words? Want to say anything, or do you feel we nailed it?
I think we got everything we needed to. Definitely.
Right on, man.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll just end it like, you know, how we started it. Everybody is going to interpret, is it a choice a different way? Like my definition is, yes, it's the choice to, you know, sniff your first pill. But then it becomes not a choice. But that's how I see it. You make the choice to use the drugs until you don't have that choice anymore. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally does.
It is a choice.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on the channel.
Yes,
everybody, thank you for watching. If you guys have any more topics you'd like us to touch on, drop them in the comments, or just hit us up, man. Chris is on Instagram, Dopey. It's at Dopey. It's YT, and for me, it's just Righteous Monkey, all one word. So thank you for watching, everybody. Have a good day, Chris.
All right, I'll talk to you later, bro.
All right, bro.